Live from Dunfey's Hyannis Resort, WBZ's big broadcast benefiting muscular dystrophy brings you... First on the scene, Casey, crime photographer.
Got it. Look for it in the Morning Express.
And now, another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, written by Alonzo Dean Cole, played by Stutz Cotsworth. Casey, ace cameraman at the Morning Express, covers the crime news of a great city. In a moment, his adventure for today. Death of a rattlesnake. Cafe, cocktail time. Casey and Ann Williams are perched comfortably on tall stools at the bar, listening to Ethelbert.
No, sir, Casey, never again. And I had to go all the way out there and back for nothing.
No kidding.
Anyway, I told him what I thought.
Well, people have no consideration for others.
You're right. So I said...
Hey, Ethelbert, how about my drink?
Hey, excuse me, Casey.
Hello, boy.
What? Why, Pete.
How are you?
Say, am I glad to see you. I heard you were back. I've been meaning to look you up, but...
I know how those things are. I meant to look you up, too.
Annie, let me introduce a very old friend of mine, Jim Peters. This is Miss Ann Williams, Pete.
How do you do, Mr. Peters?
Nice to know you, Miss Williams.
Miss Williams is an Iraqite, Pete. She's a reporter on the Express.
Ah.
Annie, Pete used to work there with me before your time. He was the best rewrite man we ever had on that old paper.
Really?
Well, for the love of Jim Peters.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Oh, doggone, it's good to see you. When'd you get out? I mean back.
Not quite a month ago.
What are you drinking, Pete?
Oh, just a Coke, Ethelbert. That's all I'm drinking now. Doctor's orders.
Doctors?
Yeah, they say my old ticker can't stand anything stronger.
Well, here you are.
Thank you, Ethelbert.
What are you doing, fella? If you haven't landed a job yet, I'm sure the Express will be glad to have you back. I'll talk to the big boss myself.
No, thanks, Casey, but I got a job. I landed it right away. I was lucky.
Ah, that's swell. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm kind of a press agent for Sylvia Brewster.
Say, you're with the best. For my money, Sylvia Brewster is one of the greatest actresses in this country.
She's also a swell girl, Casey, a wonderful girl.
Well, that's the way she struck me the couple of times I met her.
She's opening in a new place soon, isn't she?
Anything I can do for you, Pete, and for Miss Brewster, will be a pleasure.
Oh, thanks. Well, I got to run along now. I have a couple of appointments.
Well, now, wait. When can we get together, Pete? Talk over old times.
Oh, anytime, Casey. Here's my card. I've taken a little apartment over on Juniper Street. It's been nice meeting you, Miss Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
And seeing you again, Ethelbert.
Don't be a stranger from now on, Pete.
Oh, I won't. So long.
So long.
Bye now, bye.
Pete didn't lose any weight at where he was, Casey.
Well, he probably still tips the scale around 350. He looks bad, though.
Yeah, old and sick.
Well, no wonder. Poor devil.
Well, where's your friend been? Both of you seemed to get a little embarrassed about that point while he was here.
Pete's just come out of the big house, Ann.
Oh, the big house?
Oh, Pete wasn't in prison for doing anything crooked, Miss Williams. He only killed a guy.
Only...
It was an accident. He was in a cheap waterfront bar one night when he got into an argument with a guy he'd never seen before. Well, the guy swung on him. Pete grabbed his throat in those big hands of his and didn't let go until the guy was dead.
The guy was just a no-good bum, a cheap crook, an ex-con. What was his name, Casey?
Oh, I've forgotten. Manning or Manners, I think. Well, anyway, Pete got a 5-year rap for manslaughter.
Oh, gee. Well, Casey, we're due back at the office in 45 minutes.
Right. Here's for the drinks, Ethelbert. Wouldn't you know? The night we got a break, Annie, driving home at a respectable hour, and pow, a flat tire.
Well, is there anything I can do to help?
No, thanks. Just sit still. If you start to help me, we'll be here all night.
Well, if that's the way you feel about... Casey.
Yeah?
That man.
What man?
There. He's running from that house. In a hurry.
Yeah, getting into that car.
And he's starting off fast, too.
Hey, let me get my camera.
Your camera?
I want a shot of that car. It's pretty far away now, but blow-up of this may be worth something.
Why?
Ann, didn't you get a good look at that guy's face?
Yes, he ran right under the street lamp, but...
You didn't recognize him. Well, that rat was Midge Bannon.
Midge Bannon?
Yeah, the gunman was wanted for the Fairbanks bond robbery, among other things.
And he killed a watchman when he got those bonds.
Hey, come on. You'll find out what he was doing in that house.
You bet. When anyone like Midge Bannon comes out of a place in a hurry, he's probably left a hot news story behind him.
And look,
Yeah.
the windows of the lower floor are lighted.
Yeah, but the shades are drawn. The door is wide open.
I see. Midge was in such a hurry he didn't bother to close it.
Shall we go in, Casey?
No. Wait a minute. Never walk into a strange house without... Anybody home here?
No answer.
Anybody home here? Guess the place is empty, Ann. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go in.
Oh, this hall is beautifully furnished. Oriental rugs.
Yeah, money lives in this place. The kind of money Midge Bannon goes after. Well, nothing wrong in the living room.
No. Oh, there's the library over there.
All right, come on, let's see if it's any...
Oh! Casey! That man on the floor. There's blood.
2 bullet holes in his chest. The body's still warm.
Oh, Bannon must have shot him just before he ran out.
Looks like it. And he used a .38 automatic. Here's one of the ejected shells.
Oh, there's the other.
Yeah. I must have stepped on that one. It's all flattened out. Ah, and look at the wall safe, Annie.
Yeah, it's open. Midge Bannon opened the safe, and this man caught him doing it.
I guess so. I've seen this dead guy before, and I can't place him. Well, you find a phone and call Logan while I get a picture of this setup. A nice, exclusive picture.
Okay, Casey. What's that?
Someone knocked at that door we came in.
Casey, they're ringing the bell.
Here, duck behind the screen, out of sight.
Why?
Just duck and be quiet.
Okay. Someone's coming in.
I hear.
Mr. Smiley?
Smiley.
Smiley?
It's a woman.
Mr. Smiley, your door was open, so I came in. Hey, where are you?
She's coming into this room.
Oh!
I'm getting a picture of her.
Who are you? Why did you take my picture?
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
I've got to get out of here.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to talk to you.
Casey, she's getting into a car.
Let her go, Ann. I know who she is.
Who?
She's Sylvia Brewster.
We were talking about her tonight in the Blue Note.
And since I heard her calling Mr. Smiley, I recognize this dead guy.
Well, who is he?
Haven't you ever heard of Matt Smiley?
Matt Smiley? The disbarred criminal lawyer?
He was a disbarred gang lawyer and a blackmailer.
Why should a woman like Sylvia Brewster come to Matt Smiley's house?
I don't know. But we'll forget we saw her here, Ann.
Forget we saw her? Well, her name in this story will get it a double column spread on the front page.
Sure, and when we put it there, we ruin her reputation. We forget that Sylvia Brewster was here.
Okay, if you say so.
I'll call headquarters and tell Logan to get up here with his homicide dicks. And to make a real hot search for Midge Bannon.
We'll get Bannon, Casey. That little egg will be in the basket very soon.
Guess there can't be any doubt that he killed Smiley, Logan.
How can there be? You and Miss Williams saw him leaving this house while Smiley's body was still warm. And my guys have found his fingerprints in the library here. This case is practically closed.
Why do you think Bannon killed Smiley, Captain Logan?
Well, Smiley, among other things, was a fence. I've got an idea that Midge Bannon passed him the bonds from the Fairbanks job and that Smiley tried to pull a double cross. Midge came here tonight for a showdown. He forced Smiley to open his safe and give him back the bonds, or pay him extra dough for them, and then he killed him.
Have you guys finished sorting through the stuff they took out of the safe?
I'll see. Hey, Flanagan.
Yes, Lieutenant. Captain.
How you coming with the contents of that safe?
Oh, it's a filthy collection of stuff we found there, sir. Mostly blackmail material. We found a bunch of envelopes in the safe, Casey. Each with the name of a man or a woman on them. And each one of them envelopes contained original documents or photographs that would be very hurtful to the person whose name was on it.
Smiley's system, Casey, was to sell the contents of the envelopes to his victims. after he'd bled him a long time with threats of exposure.
But when they finally paid for and got the original documents, they weren't through. In a secret compartment in that safe, he had photographic duplicates of all the originals.
A nice, sweet-scented violet, this Smiley.
A rattlesnake. You find any prominent names on Smiley's envelopes, Flanagan?
Well, there were the names of several very well-known men.
Men, huh? How about women?
He didn't seem to have many women victims, and the few he had I never heard of. Of course, we haven't checked on his duplicates yet.
Well, Ann, we hope to hit the hay early tonight, and this business has taken us over 2 hours.
Well, you've sewed up the case for me, pal. You and Miss Williams run along.
Sorry, I stepped on that 138 automatic shell and flattened it out, Logan. I didn't see the thing when we came in.
Ah, that doesn't matter. We have all we need to land Midge Bannon for this job.
Yeah.
Come down to headquarters in the morning, Casey. As you know, I don't play favorites with you newspaper guys. But if anything happens and you happen to be around...
Thanks, pal. All right, come on, Annie. I'll drive you home, and then I'm going to hit the hay.
Hello, Casey.
Why, Pete, what are you doing here in my doorway?
I've been waiting for you, fella, over an hour.
Why?
I understand you took a picture tonight of the lady I work for.
I took a picture of Sylvia Brewster, Pete. She tell you?
Yeah. She recognized you. What do you plan to do with the picture, Casey?
We'll return to our story. When Casey arrived home at 1:30 in the morning, he found his old friend Jim Peters waiting to see him.
I understand you took a picture tonight of the lady I work for.
I took a picture of Sylvia Brewster, Pete. She tell you?
Yeah, she recognized you. What do you plan to do with the picture, Casey?
Nothing.
I figured that, but can I have the shot you took of her in Smiley's house?
Sure, you can have it. Here's the film pack. I haven't developed it yet. You can, if you want to make sure what you're getting.
I will. Not that I disbelieve anything you tell me, Casey. It's just that well, Sylvia Brewster's my boss.
Why was she at Smiley's tonight, Pete?
The explanation's very simple, Casey. You see, Smiley was putting up some money to produce her new play. He was a backer. That's the only way she knew him. She went to his house tonight to discuss some production plans.
That's good enough for me, Pete.
Well, knowing you, Casey, I figure you didn't mention anything about Miss Brewster, to the cops.
I didn't, and I won't.
Thanks. How about the girl who was with you?
Miss Williams won't say anything either.
Oh, you're taking a big load off my Miss Brewster's mind, fella. This thing tonight could have done her a lot of harm. Have the cops any idea who killed Smiley?
They practically got the killer strapped in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Miss Williams and I saw him leaving the house, Pete.
You saw?
Yeah. A little gunman named Midge Bannon. He's already wanted for another killing.
Oh. Well, I gotta be getting along. Good night, Casey.
Good night, fella.
And thanks. Thanks a million.
Well, I never expected to see you here at headquarters this early, Casey.
You located Bannon yet, Logan?
No, but the heat's on him strong. We'll have him soon.
I suppose you guys have made a complete check of the stuff found in Smiley's safe by now. The duplicates of his black material, I mean.
Yes?
You find anything interesting?
I found something that puzzles me.
What?
The photograph of a criminal record card with fingerprints and police department pictures.
Now, what can puzzle you about a criminal record card? You studied thousands of them.
Yeah, well, it's the pictures on this card. The usual full face and profile shots of a woman.
A woman?
Yeah. She's someone I've seen, someone I think I know, but I can't place her to save me. And I have a pretty good memory for faces, Casey.
Never known you to forget one.
Yeah, well, of course, these pictures were taken a long time ago, back in 1933. And 12 years makes a difference in a gal's looks. Here's the card, the photograph of it, rather.
This is what you found in Smiley's safe. This blow-up?
Yeah. Can you read the case history on it, or do you want a magnifying glass?
Oh, I can make it out. Marie Pierre, convicted of acting in consort with her husband, George Manfred, in the commission of armed robbery.
Out in Montana. She drew a 2-year prison sentence.
Well, she was just a kid. Her age given here is 18.
Yeah, well, she'd be 30 now. I'm sure I've seen or know a woman of about 30 who bears a strong resemblance to this Marie Pierre. You know almost everyone I do, Casey. Does the kid's face or those pictures remind you of anyone?
No, no one.
Hey, Casey, I've got it. Add a dozen years to this kid's face, and she's Sylvia Brewster.
Oh, you're nuts.
Look at this profile shot. Well, there is a resemblance.
Only a resemblance. Very faint resemblance.
Well, I'll take your word, pal. Oh, excuse me. Captain Logan speaking. You have? Well, that's swell, Sergeant. 9th Street in Tremont? I'll be right over. They've got Midge Bannon, Casey.
Great.
He tried to shoot it out when he saw the cops, and they filled him full of lead.
He dead?
He's dead as a mackerel. Well, that closes up the Smiley murder and the Fairbanks job, too. Come on. You want to get some pictures of the place where the boy shot him?
Yeah, let's make it snappy, Logan. As soon as I get my pictures, I want to see a guy.
Sit down, Casey.
Thanks, Pete.
This visit's a mighty pleasant surprise. Miss Brewster was very grateful for the negative you gave me last night, Casey, and for your assurance that no one would know about her visit to Smiley's house.
I've come to give you something else for her, Pete.
Something else?
Something you missed at Smiley's house last night.
Something I missed? I've never been in Smiley's house.
Pete, you were there when you killed him.
Oh, you're crazy.
I don't think so, Pete. I've come to give you a photograph of a criminal record card, complete with pictures and fingerprints of a girl who called herself Marie Pierre. Here.
Where did you get this?
Oh, I stole it a little while ago. From Captain Logan. He's head of the homicide squad.
Where did he get it?
In Smiley's safe. You made Smiley open that safe and give you the original of this record before you shot him. It didn't occur to you that he'd have a photographic duplicate.
And why should I have wanted the criminal record card of a girl named Marie Pierre?
Because her present name is Sylvia Brewster.
No.
It's hard to fool a guy in my racket about faces, Pete. Harder than it is to fool a good cop like Logan. I think the real name of Marie Pierre and of Sylvia Brewster is Peters. I think she's your daughter.
Oh, what would give you that idea?
Oh, I know you had a daughter. You used to talk about her when you'd been drinking more than usual. Her name was, Marguerite, wasn't it?
Marjorie.
I was close. As I remember, your wife divorced you when the girl was about 12. Took her out west to live. To Montana, I think, where Marie Pierre was arrested.
Go on.
Marjorie Peters changed her name to Marie Pierre.
That's good reasoning, but it isn't very conclusive.
You made several mistakes last night, Pete.
Casey, you told me last night that a crook named Bannon killed Smiley. You said you saw him leaving the house.
That's right. And one of your mistakes, Pete, was in not asking me for details about what I saw and about Bannon. You're an old newspaper guy, Pete.
Oh, and that aroused your curiosity, huh?
It did. And it started a hunch. And when I got up to my apartment, I couldn't sleep. The hunch had gotten strong. I got out of bed and tried a little experiment.
Experiment?
The .38 automatic used to kill Smiley ejected 2 shells on his floor. One was crushed almost flat. I thought I'd stepped on it. So I took the charge out of a .38 automatic shell and tried stepping on it. My 180 pounds wouldn't crush it flat, Pete. Your 300 pounds plus would.
I guess a man of my build has to watch his step, Casey, when you're around.
Why not tell me about it, Pete?
Oh, you win, Casey. Before I tell you, I'll give you this gun. Here. I've had my finger on its trigger for the last couple of minutes, and it's been pointed at you through my coat pocket.
I didn't think you'd shoot me.
No, I couldn't shoot you. I can only kill snakes. Rattlesnakes who threaten my daughter. I've killed 2.
2?
2. I'll tell you. My daughter got a raw deal from the time she was born. Then she married a guy by the name of Manfred.
His name's on that record.
Yeah, well, they started on a honeymoon in a jalopy he had. He stopped at a gas station and left my kid in the car while he went inside. He told her he was going to buy a tire. He tried to hold up the guy, and the cops pinched Marjorie as an accessory, and she went to prison.
As Marie Pierre?
Yes. When she came out, she took a new name, and she made good on a stage.
As Sylvia Brewster?
That's right. To avoid any chance of the past coming back to hurt her, I didn't let anyone know that Sylvia Brewster was my kid, and she didn't. And then one day she came to me. Her husband, Manfred, was out of jail and had located her. He threatened to expose her prison record if she didn't give him a lot more dough than she had.
Manfred?
I went after the guy, and I found him in a waterfront bar. George Manfred, my kid's husband, was the guy I went to prison for killing.
I didn't figure that part.
When I came out a month ago, my kid had this apartment all fixed up for me. And she let me believe that everything was roses with her. Then I found out that Smiley had the evidence of her prison record and was bleeding her dry. So I went to Smiley's house that night. I made him give up the evidence he had on Sylvia's record. The only evidence he had, I thought. And then I shot him and left the place. I didn't know that Sylvia would come to the house a little later. She went there to pay Smiley more hush money.
You left the house by the front door, Pete?
Yeah.
Midge Bannon came to Smiley's for some reason. And when no one answered the doorbell, he walked in as the rest of us did. And when he saw Smiley dead, he ran out in a hurry.
That's probably how it was. Well, Casey, shall we go tell Logan?
I'm saying nothing at all, Pete. The killing of Smiley? It's now a closed case.
Closed?
Midge Bannon was shot to death a couple of hours ago while resisting arrest. You're in the clear, Pete. If you go to the cops, you do it on your own.
You won't feel too good if I don't go to him, will you, Casey?
I've told you how I feel.
Sure. But you'll carry a load on your mind as long as I live. You'll be shielding a killer.
Let me worry about that.
Okay. Will you leave me alone, Casey? I want to do a little thinking.
All right. So long, Pete.
Wait a minute. I've been a pretty lousy host. Will you have a drink before you go?
No, thanks.
I got some good whiskey here.
I thought you weren't allowed to touch the stuff.
Oh, I'm not. The docs say one stiff drink could stop my ticker. I just keep it for friends.
I'll take a rain check on it, Pete. So long.
So long, Casey. One stiff drink.
Gee, that's terrible, Casey. Old Pete's heart just gave out, huh?
Yeah. He's found dead in his apartment. I just heard about it. I wonder.
You wonder what?
Oh, nothing. Ethelbert, pour me a good, stiff drink.